Colts mandatory minicamp in the books. I wanted to get this up right away. It's quarterback Matt Ryan spoke to the media, good long time. We'll get Frank Reich up a little bit later and a full recap of minicamp coming up in just a little bit, but wanted to get this up right away. Of course, you need to download the Callin app. We're going to do a minicamp recap in about an hour and a half. Got to get that done. Join us, talk Colts. Cannot wait to talk to you then. Here's Matt Ryan. First question from the Athletic's Stephen Holder.
So, I don't know, you've been here a couple months now. Just how integrated do you feel? It looks like you have command of the offense to the degree that you guys have, gotten into it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's been a good stretch. I feel like a lot has been accomplished in whatever it's been, eight weeks, something like that. And I feel like personally I'm a lot further along when it comes to terminology and kind of understanding what we're trying to do offensively. So I feel a lot more comfortable now. I thought we had really good effort from the guys during the spring. I thought the ability to lock in and really focus on what we're trying to get better at. Guys did a great job with that. So all in all, I think everybody's pleased with how the last few weeks have gone.
How much chemistry can you build with particularly your primary receivers in this period? I mean, obviously they're not pressing, they're not doing all the things that you will see, but can that chemistry develop even now?
Yeah, I think I definitely think it starts now. There's so much that goes into just kind of understanding guys' body language, how they move, what their catch radius is, how they track balls in the air, and just them getting a feel for how my ball comes in and timing, and I think all those things are really important. And I think we've made good strides. I think from a passing standpoint, I do think you get a lot of good work in the pass game this time of the year, which is nice. And so I do think we've come a long way in from where we were first time throwing with each other to where we are right now. It's a lot better.
How much have you learned about these guys, tight ends and receivers, this week and maybe the last couple of weeks that you couldn't have learned, in the film room or before you guys really got on the field and played?
Yeah, I think, particularly, you talk about the film room. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot you can learn from watching guys play in game situations. But there's so many guys that are so young, and so there's not, this massive inventory of routes and how they do things. And so I think, when you have guys in those type of situations, the live action that you do get, really helps. And it's different, when there's moving parts out there, when you have to, understand coverage, when you have to make the subtle adjustments that you have to make as a route runner based on coverage. Some guys process that, better than others. And that's one of the things you can't really tell when you're just firing it on air. You have to learn those things as you go through practice. And I think our guys did a really good job of that. I really do, from each position group, running back, tight end, wide receiver. I think they all did a nice job of it.
Hey Matt, Frank's used to revolving door quarterback, unfortunately, the last couple of years. How's your relationship been with him as far as having a head coach play the position and just kind of keep you guys on the same page?
I think it's been great. I've really enjoyed, spending time with him in the meeting room. Getting a feel for, his philosophy as a coach and the things that he believes in. Getting to know him as a person. You're not going to find a better person than him. And I really feel like, we've made a lot of good strides in the last 2 months in terms of, getting on the same page and communicating. I think we've done a good job of that, and we're going to have to, continue to push that envelope as we get to training camp, because, it's different when you're in game and there's wins and losses attached to it. It's just, it's different. And so the closer and more on the same page you can get, the better. But I think we're off to a really good start.
Frank had mentioned how these past couple of days have been so beneficial for him. Of course, you guys have had this past couple of years. When you look back these last 3 days, what excites you about this offense going into training camp and the season, of course?
It's the players, the guys. There's a lot of talent and a lot of guys that are unselfish, that work really hard, that are committed to trying to see how good they can get individually to help the team. and that fires me up. At all positions, you know, you look at the depth we have at the wide receiver position, a lot of young, talented players, guys that, you know, are unselfish. Same thing from the tight end room. We have 2 young guys that we drafted. Mo Alley Cox is, you know, kind of the veteran in that room now, and he's done a great job of leading that group. Kylan's been awesome, so that fires me up. The running backs, you know, playing with Jonathan, he's one of the best in the league, and so not to mention the guys we have up front, you know, and on the defense, and so I've really enjoyed that part of it.
Matt, during this break, are you a guy that likes to get together with the pass catchers? Do you try and put something together?
Yeah, I have done that, you know, throughout my entire career, and so you know, I like to do it in small groups. That's always how I've done it. I've only got one arm, you know, and everybody wants a lot of catches, so I find the work is more beneficial in small groups than getting all, you know, 10, 12 guys together, but that's something that, you know, I've always done.
Does it matter more now that it's new personnel, the entire group is new to you?
You know, I think it always matters, you know, regardless of new or old, but I think one of the things you realize the longer you play, you know, there's so much turnover year to year, whether or not you're in the same building or not. You know, that's kind of the way the league is now, and so I think it is, you know, very important, and certainly important for me to keep speaking the language for the next, you know, 6 or 8 weeks, or it's not 8, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks until we start back up, and you know, just to keep your mind fresh enough, you know, so you're not losing anything that we've gained up until this point, and we're hitting training camp ready to go.
As a young quarterback, or the young receivers you've mentioned 2 or 3 times, what role can you play to maybe accelerate their learning curve?
You know, I hope to play a big role. You know, I really think the most important thing is that we are on the same page. You know, that we understand where we're coming from. I think the experience of having played with a lot of different guys, you know, throughout my career, and understanding that everybody's skill set's different, right? It's not, you know, one size fits all on how to run routes. And I've been around a lot of different body types, a lot of different, you know, movement types. And I think that gives me a pretty good experience to kind of identify similar type players that I've played with in how they move, and try and help them where I can in terms of, you know, how to get open, how to separate, and what I'm expecting. So that's what I'm always working on.
A couple of the young guys have said, you know, the new quarterback is on us in a good way. And you talked about this when you signed here, but how did you sort of wrestle with that? Like, you're a new quarterback in a new city, but also with 14 years experience. How did you sort of approach that in your mind?
To be honest with you, I just be myself.
Do exactly what you did before.
You know, I think number one, you have to learn the offense. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be able to speak their language, and that's the thing I said from the start, is that you got to help me here too. You know, understanding that, you know, at the very beginning, guys are probably further along than I was. There's no doubt about it. And not being too hard-headed about it, saying, listen, I'm going to need your help too. You know, you're going to have to help me where I can. But we have such a young group, and to me, it's just, I'm trying to help you be the best player you can be. And I expect the same from you too, you know, when it's your turn to get me going. And they've done that. You know, our guys have done a good job, but really just trying to be myself and make sure that I'm as knowledgeable on the offense as I can be to kind of help those guys.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. That's Matt Ryan. Great stuff. Seems very, very excited about the offense, as he should be. He's got weapons. He's a guy who's been an NFL MVP. He's ready to go. And you got to like his enthusiasm, and you really have to like his accuracy. We'll be back in a little bit with Frank Reich, and then a full minicamp recap, and then you got to download the Callin app. We're going to have a terrific time talking about the Colts, your thoughts, my thoughts, as minicamp comes to a close.